Hey, we're back. Yeah, I'm just gonna make a quick little video here talking about the mini season. Once again, congratulations to E for winning the championship this year. Thank you to everybody for putting up with me throughout the season. I know I was hounded a little bit here and there, but you guys made it super easy. I didn't have to do that a whole lot. Can't thank you guys enough. I had a ton of fun. Season obviously didn't play out the way I really envisioned it, but it's all good. Yeah, no, it was just a solid year. It was fun playing with all the whole national decks was available, including Little Cup stuff. I picked up Trapinch late in the year. So yeah, shifting to next season. Gen 9 is a different beast. This is really different than what we've seen before in Pokemon. You can change your Pokemon's type. And what do I mean by that? Every Pokemon can terrestrialize, Terra type, into any of the 18 types, right? So you can only do it once per game, and only one Pokemon can do it, obviously, then. And it creates some interesting dynamics. So looking at like a team like this, just want to touch on this real quick before I kind of dive into what the mini season's all about. You have something like Goldango, really good offensive stats. You have a Terra type of Steel, which Steel inherently is a defensive Terra type, but when you're using it with your main attack, Make It Rain here, 120 base power, whenever you Terra into a type that you end up using, so Goldango uses a Steel Terra type, he uses Make It Rain afterwards, Make It Rain does way more damage, right? If it's, let's say, need something that doesn't have a stab. Oh, well, we'll look at that with another case. But Goldango's already a Steel and Ghost type, right? So since it's a Steel type, if it Terras into Steel, not only does its Steel type moves get its 1.5 times stab bonus already, it gets a 2 times bonus. Right, so now Make It Rain is coming off of a crazy boosted Terra type, and it can make games very offensive. You can blow through stuff like that. That's essentially like a Life Orb boost, even more, on top of your stab and everything. So we then look at like I don't know. Let me go back to a more defensive team here instead of that screens kind of hyper offense sort of stuff. Blissey. Defensive Pokemon here, it's got a Ghost Terra type, right? It's only weak to fighting originally. You can Terra it into Ghost. Obviously, it does have this one's a weird Blissey where it's offensive, but like generally you'd be using it to stop a fighting type move. Maybe something's running like a high jump kick or an axe kick. Axe kick's a new move, same consequences. You miss, you end up taking half your health. So you Terra it into Ghost, you end up dodging that. And Ghost itself is a decent defensive typing too. Not as good as normal, but they can complement each other. And you can kind of expect maybe a fat normal type to run a Ghost Terra, and maybe you can call that and use a Dark move or a Ghost move onto it, predicting the Terra type. It's a whole new dynamic. This is very confusing. I can't really break it down that quickly in just a video, so I just wanted to give that quick overview, but this is the essence of the mini season. What I want to do, and I did misspeak in the message, it's actually the Grand Slam in Smogon, is kind of the format that we're going off of, where you have teams and you designate a coach for a slot in that team, right? So you kind of fill your roster up. We're doing 5-on-5, we're just splitting the league in half, and basically before the week starts, whoever the captain of that team is would designate who's going to play in what tier, right? So as of right now, I believe I said we were going to have 2 OU games, 2 UU games, and 1 RU game, right? If we look at what they have available in Smogon right now, next month, in theory, they'll have NU put out, and maybe we change it to 1 OU, 2 UU, 1 RU, 1 NU. Something along those lines, or maybe 2 OU, 1 UU, RUNU. The whole point of this is so we can get familiar with using Terra in game. Now, I think we're going to limit that when we draft. I think at most we're going to allow one Mon to be like a Terra captain or one Terra type for your whole team. Still kind of working out the kinks on that because Terra in draft seems extremely non-competitive. It seems super busted, and if you just get a good Mon with a good type advantage, I mean, you know your opponent, so you can end up counter teaming them and just blow that up. And if you predict incorrectly, but with maybe a defensive Terra type, you just lose, right? So I think we're gonna have to limit that, but it's good for everybody to understand maybe why we're limiting that and how to use it when you do have that availability. That way, when we draft, you can pick. If we do like a Terra captain, you might have a Mon that you played with during the mini season that you're like, wow, I really like being able to change the type of this, or you know, something like a Slither Wing, right? If I pull that up, it's bug and fighting, but it gets a boost from having the sun up, and it also gets Flare Blitz, right? So generally what you see with a Slither Wing is you want to make it a Fire Terror type, and you can use Flare Blitz or Flame Charge, and you can boost that up, turn yourself into a Fire type, kind of getting rid of that 4x flying weakness, just making it neutral, along with boosting crazy strong Flare Blitzes from Flame Charges, potentially in the sun if you end up drafting something with that. Yeah, the whole point of this is just I want everybody to get familiar with it. It is brand new to the majority of us. I know like Tyler, Joe, and I have been playing some VGC. MJC's been doing some random battles and stuff, getting like a little bit of a taste of it. It's obviously very different when you're playing 6v6 singles and how the mechanic works with that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a 3-week season, right? And we're gonna build teams for our tier. So say I'm playing in the OU tier or something, I'm gonna use like this hyper offense team. You know, I like Espathra. I think Garganacle's really cool. Maybe this is something I want to go with. But you know, you're playing OU, so you're not limited to just OU Mons. Obviously, they're the best, and that's why they're used more often. But if you wanted to dip down into UU, I think Orthworm is UU. Yep, so like that's on the team here. So you're not limited. Obviously, all the Ubers are banned, and there's been some tiering changes too. So like Chi-Yu is actually banned as well, and that will kind of change. And we'll just kind of play off of what's allowed each week that we play. If there's a ban in between weeks or something, you know, maybe there's suspect testing, and then by week 3, I don't know, Dragapult gets banned. It won't, but just as an example. Something along those lines where, okay, we just have to adapt to it and play as is. We're not limited to point tiers or drafting or anything. You just build a team that can kind of cover a lot of options. So something on this team, right? You have like a specially defensive Garganacle, probably as like a Chi-Yu answer. Not necessarily to counter team anything, but you just have a good like special defensive pivot. Screams Grimmsnarl. You try to balance your team as much as possible to cover as many things as possible. It's way different than building for 10 Mons that you know are coming each week. But this allows us to have full freedom with whatever Mons you want to use. Maybe you love Clodsire, you want to put that on a team. Maybe you make some sort of like stall matchup with it. You know, King Gambit, he's one of my favorites, and that was released in Gen 9. Bisharp got a new evolution. Maybe I want to build a team around him because I'm really interested in drafting him. Maybe I find after I build a team with him and I get absolutely cooked in my matchup, oh, maybe I don't want to use King Gambit in a draft league, right? So I think this mini season will have a little bit more prep where you just have to build these teams, but we're going to make it short, we're going to make it nice and concise, and I think it's going to be really useful for people just to be aware of what's good by the time we end up drafting. To make that prep a little bit quicker, Blunder's page on Smogon, he's a guy I watch for like singles content on YouTube. His whole community just puts PokePaste up in here, right? So a lot of these teams I put in my team builder are just stuff that, you know, they provided for him to use in a Showdown Live on YouTube. So a lot of times they'll, you know, maybe they'll give like a little bit of a description on the right side here. Let's see if I can change this. Yeah. So right here, just kind of like a little summary of what's going on with the team. So that, you know, it's got uses other than that. Sometimes they'll, let's see if I think one of these kind of explains. Yeah, so this one, it ends up getting cut off here. Let me show in the team builder. Like, this guy ended up basically up in the title, showed you what you should lead. You know, you got Tinkaton if there's like a screens team or something. Gengar sucks, but it's on the team. What, you know, they'll try to explain in there, or maybe in their post here they'll say something. You know, this guy used a Slither Moth team. He got up to 1740 on the ladder. Obviously, that's really good. So this is a pretty well built team. But yeah, you can kind of go through here. You know, if you're interested in using Armarouge or something, you got a team right here that you can feature. Armarouge, Nihilate, Grimmsnarl. Yeah, so this should help with prep a lot. You can kind of go through this, find something you like. I want to say, and let me just see here. If I go, so Poke-Aim is another. Is he just aim? Yeah. So he might have some teams that aren't just NU or aren't just OU. He plays a lot of stuff. So like there's Little Cup in here, obviously OU there. But you should be able to find UU, NU, RU teams, whatever, whenever those leagues or formats are available. He plays a lot more of a variety than just OU, so this might be a good resource for some of the lower stuff. But the reason I want to do like this Grand Slam sort of format is that way we're not all just playing OU, we get to be exposed to some of the lower tier stuff as well. If I go into here and I just change this to like RU, you know, we can see what's available. RU is kind of the Wild West still as they start filtering things out, so it just has everything below. But if I go to UU here, UU has been an established tier now for a couple months, and you can see what's been in the underused category. Still crazy to me that like Tyranitar is down there, but you know, it is what it is. It's down there for a reason based off of what's available in OU, but yeah, I just think this is going to be the best way that we can get prepped for draft. I hope you guys are excited about it. I don't really have a time frame for when I want to end up getting this started. Probably beginning, maybe middle of February or so, is what I'm thinking. Enjoy your break. We, you know, just had a nice long season, the longest that we've ever had, given that we had more coaches and more weeks to play in the regular season. So you guys deserve this break. You don't have to do any prep or anything for a while. You know, maybe play some random games, maybe build your own OU, UU teams and start getting a little familiar before the tournament. But as soon as I get a little bit closer to that date, I'll let you guys know and what I'm thinking with that. And I'll come up with something for the winners. Since we're doing 2 teams of 5, we'll obviously have 5 winners. And yeah, basically each week, one team will be like the winning team based off of the record through the week, right? So hopefully when I randomize it, it's relatively balanced. Maybe I'll play God and kind of switch some stuff over if it looks like it's kind of lopsided, but I want to keep that kind of as random as possible if I can. But yeah, that's pretty much it for it. Just want everybody to get familiar before we draft, that way you're not, you know, taking something that's a lower point value and you're thinking, oh, well, I'm getting a really good steal on this. Maybe if you play in the mini season, you use it, you realize, oh, this actually probably isn't too suitable for draft league or something. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got in this video. And yeah, thanks for sticking around through that whole season once again. That was awesome. I'll be putting some info out in the Discord, and if you got any questions, obviously just reach out and ask, and we'll kind of work through this. All right, boys. Peace.